Hello, Pals. I'm Jodan54, and just watched the Gravity Falls series finale. Just gonna tell you right now, it was absolutely fantastic. Go watch it if you haven't already. And another thing to those people who haven't already watched it, it's pretty hard to talk about this without mentioning spoilery stuff. So, if you haven't seen it, well, might want to click off this video before getting spoiled. It's common sense. But now let me look over my notes here. Let me pull up Pie Guy Rules. So, in case you don't know, this is an hour-long series finale. And this is where the show ends. And this is where I also bump the camera. It's kind of important. So let's see. So it starts off right where we left off. Right with Dipper, Mabel, Seuss, and Wendy breaking into the Mystery Shack and then getting confronted by Stan and Candy and Grenda and Pacifica and all the others. And the Multi-Bear. And McGucket. And yeah, they're all there. And yeah. It starts right from there. It's sort of different though, because it seems like the Multi-Bear coming out of the bathroom like, just so everyone knows, we're out of toilet paper. Did I miss something? That doesn't seem to happen. Instead, Dipper and Mabel run straight for Stan, and they're like, "Yay, Stan, you're fine," and that makes more sense. So I'm glad they did that. So they talk about what they need to do next, and Stan is actually, well, you see, the thing is, Stan is, he thinks that he's just gonna sit there, watch the apocalypse unfold, and he's fine. And it seems like something Stan would do, so I'll give him props for that. I suppose that works. And especially considering one of the biggest reasons they want to go in and save, the world is because Ford has been captured. And Stan doesn't really care about Ford. And speaking of Ford, we go straight to him, and he wakes up getting unfrozen, which was foreshadowed in Weirdmageddon 2. And one of my favorite scenes in the whole thing was when Bill appears from the ground playing a piano. That's one of my favorite scenes in the whole thing. I just love how casual Bill is, coming out of the ground, playing the piano to Stan. That was purely amazing. Oh my god. I would probably want to rewatch the whole thing just to see that scene again. And when oh my god, I'm definitely going to see this again. So that scene was so amazing. So Bill explains, hey, there's this force field. We're going to make a deal where I'm going to go into your mind, and I'm going to find the formula to getting the force field out, because Ford said he knew the equation, which makes sense, because Ford knows a lot of things, and he said he had studied that, so good on them for mentioning that. And he's sort of like, I'm gonna enter your mind and, let's see if I can remember. It's gonna enter your mind, find the memory, and you can rule with me. It was something like that, and it's like Bill to promise something like that. And of course, Ford refuses, and Bill says he's gonna make him talk, and that's where it stops. And we go back to the shack where McGucket, after recovering his memory, now they sort of glossed over how McGucket came back to Gravity Falls after the whole not what he seems thing happened, because you saw him like flee and run away, and he's back when Weirdmageddon happens, which is kind of ironic because he leaves for one apocalypse that didn't happen, and he returns for an apocalypse that is happening. Whatever. I mean, it's McGucket we're talking about here. He's crazy, so. But he's also pretty smart. He worked with Ford. And as we can see, I also just realized that it's Stanford and Fiddleford. I don't know. Many other people have realized that, and I'm just realizing it now. But Fiddleford McGucket gets some blueprints, and they turn the Mystery Shack into this robot thing, which is super cool, and everyone has a part in it. Everyone has a part in controlling it. There's this epic montage of them gathering parts. I was a bit disappointed that they actually didn't go down into the alien cavern from Dipper and Mabel versus the Future to get some parts, because Ford actually mentioned that McGucket and him went down there for parts. So it seems like McGucket would remember that. Maybe they did off screen, but yeah. So they assembled the shack into, like, the Shack Bot. I forget what it was called. It did have a name, so. Then Mabel knitted everyone's sweaters, including a llama sweater for Pacifica. That's where, that's how Pacifica got the sweater. Then they went into the shack to find the newscast, because Stan, he was in the shack for most of the time and hadn't really seen, and neither had anyone really also seen, what had actually happened to the townspeople after they had been brought to the pyramid, as it's called. And basically, Chandra Jimenez, the news reporter, has gotten into the pyramid, and she's speaking a report to the TV in the pyramid, saying, showing the massive throne of frozen human agony from Weirdmageddon 2. And she ends it, "I'm Chandra Jimenez, and I'm being turned to stone." That was pretty funny. The entire thing is pretty funny. Now, surprisingly, my favorite scene isn't like some of the feels parts of the episode. Those were good. But nothing topped the battle between the Mystery Shack robot and Bill's friends. Everyone had a part in just taking down everyone and destroying them. Now, it probably just would have been a pretty cool epic action sequence, Xanthar, the being whose name must never be said. Oh, what the heck, it's Xanthar. And it would have been a pretty epic sequence on its own, but that metal remix of the theme song, oh my god, that was so good. Like, I was watching the battle theme, I'm like, wait, no way, yes. Oh my god, it was like an electric guitar theme song. And speaking of the theme song, the whole Weirdmageddon thing does show up in, like, the Weirdmageddon theme song is in the episode. But the metal remix is even better somehow. And that's what made it my favorite scene in the whole thing. So they go into the pyramid, and they take down Bill. Well, they try to take down Bill. And his weak spot is sort of his eye, and that's not what Ford was talking about, of course. Ford was talking about the wheel. The cipher wheel. The thing that has... the one big thing that hasn't been explained yet. There was the pine tree, shooting star, question mark, six finger, llama sweatshirt, ice bag, the fez with Stan, and a few other symbols. And they all stepped on it, and they would have taken down Bill that way. But Stan got pretty angry because, well, the other Stan was sort of, let's see. It was something that Ford said that got Stanley angry. I think it was something about Stan's past life. I'll have to look back on that. So Stan, because everyone has to join hands, he unjoins his hands, and the whole thing stops. Bill comes in and turns everyone into flags. That was cool. That was really cool when he turned everyone into flags. That wasn't as cool as him coming up from the floor playing the piano, but that was still pretty cool. He tied up Dipper and Mabel, and he caged... No, wait. It was the other way around. He caged Dipper and Mabel and tied up Stanley and picked up Ford. And he was zapping him before. They're like, want another 500 volts? Wait, what's that? He goes over to taunt Dipper and Mabel blasts him with like this air freshener stuff. I don't know. But considering that Bill's not good with synthesized music, I can see how he'd be hurt by that. And he's like, I just regenerated that eye! He said it would take a long time to regenerate, but he had regenerated it before and it didn't take that long. I don't know. Since he controls time now. Now that dumb baby's out of the way, time itself! Then Mabel uses the growing ray from Little Dipper and makes the cage grow huge and they escape. I believe Bill drops the Stan twins as well, and he gets really mad. He's like, I have some kids I need to turn into corpses. It was pretty dark. If that wasn't enough, he turned into like this multi-part spider Bill thing. It was really freaky. And he was like, from Dreamscapers, do you have any idea what I'm like when I'm mad? Well, now we know, like, when he's furious, he turns into this spider thing. And he's like a pyramid now, not just a triangle. So they end up capturing the twins, the Pines twins, like Dipper and Mabel. And it's a pretty epic sequence and pretty emotionally charged when Ford finally surrenders, which, knowing Ford and knowing the chances, it makes sense because there's really nothing else he can do, and he doesn't want Dipper and Mabel to be tortured. But then, now, I actually was surprised by the twist that happened, where, since they're twins, all they had to do was change their clothes around, and Bill thinks it's Ford that he's shaking his hand with, but no, it's Stanley. So he enters the mind of Stanley, and it's just Stanley doing a paddleball thing, casually, looking at Bill. Might as well put in a troll face there, because it was too late. Ford shot Stan with the mine gun from the Society of the Blind Eye, and it was all over. And then we get to the finale part. So far, I had absolutely loved the episode, and I loved what came out after that. As you can see, I'm not good with unscripted things, but Stanley's mind had been completely erased, and he did not remember a thing, but they had to escape and meet up with everyone else. So the force field, well, it's probably still there, but it's no longer visible. Well, actually, it's no longer there. It's disappeared, and everything returns to normal. Chandra's hair is still gone, but everything returns to normal. And there's actually a newscast where Bodacious T, as he's called, is actually in the news report, and it's pretty funny. Also, I didn't mention that Rumble McSkirmish is one of the people who's the survivors of the apocalypse with Stan. So Stan, his mind is completely gone, and he doesn't remember a thing. So they go back into the Mystery Shack, and he sort of gets his mind back gradually by, like, he looked at Waddles, he was like, "Now get Waddles off of me!" Huh? And then he just started remembering everyone's names, and he started getting his character back. And that's the one. If there was one part of the series finale that I didn't like, it was that. Because I feel like they could have done a better job of getting Stan's memory back. And I know exactly what they could have done. In Weirdmageddon Part 1, the Time Baby was absolutely obliterated by Bill, but Blendin Blandin survived. And he still had all of his gear with him. He was able to disappear from the time period. He could have come back, and he could have, like, done something to make Stan's brain go back in time and regain all of his thoughts, done something. But they could have used Blendin Blandin, because they sort of left him hanging. He didn't come back after disappearing. He wasn't killed, he wasn't captured, he wasn't any of that. And yeah, I'm wondering what happened to Blendin. And they did say the end of the world is in 3012 in the shorts. So, yeah, that was the one part I didn't like. They could have done a better job of getting Stan's memory back, but Stan's memory got back. And Dipper and Mabel celebrated their 13th birthday party with everyone, including Mayor Tyler. And he passed the forget all that, something like that, forget all that act. And just really like, oh, this never happened. This Weirdmageddon is crazy, and it was. I'm also wondering what happened to the, "Hey you, yeah, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about going inside my mouth" guy. What happened to that guy? So yeah, the finale. Everything is tied up. Every loose end, except Blendin, is tied up. Even, and this is the most important one, the relationship between Stanley and Ford. They are going on an adventure to the Arctic Ocean, I believe they said. The funny thing is, Ford had like a globe with a light on it, and the light was somewhere near Australia, I think, and he's saying the Arctic Ocean. Last time I checked, that's the South Pacific, but maybe his globe is different. Yeah, I noticed that. So they actually went on a boat, the Stan and War 2, I like that touch, and they actually went on an adventure. When I saw that, I thought that Gravity Falls was going to pick up on like a spin-off, and it was going to be the adventures of like Stan and Ford. I would have watched the shit out of that show, but from what they showed of their adventures already, it seems like they're not going to do that, and that's fine. So Dipper and Mabel actually leave Gravity Falls. They go on the bus and leave. Dipper does not take Ford's apprenticeship, but Ford doesn't seem too disappointed about that. He's preoccupied with the Stanley and Ford thing in the ocean. So that worked nicely. Mabel got a final last goodbye from Stan and Grenda and Candy. Dipper got a letter from Wendy that was signed by everyone. I love that. But my favorite thing was that Seuss is now the new Mr. Mystery. And he is in charge of the Mystery Shack with Melody. Melody was there too. So I guess she moved back in. And I wonder what happened to her during the Weirdmageddon. We didn't see her. They did say it was out of town. She was out of town, so considering the force field and all, she was probably safe. And that was probably also why Magucke wasn't affected. And Seuss's grandma came in and she's like, "I'm moving in right now." That part was pretty good. So yeah, that was Weirdmageddon Part 3. The credits were so good. Of course, my TV was like, "Nope, you don't get to see the rest of this. Oh, you want to cancel this recording? You want to delete it?" I'm like, "No, I want to watch the rest of it." They're like, "No, this is the end." I'm like, "No, it's not." TV always wins those arguments, no matter what. So yeah, that was Weirdmageddon Part 3. It's definitely my new favorite episode of Gravity Falls. And it's one of the best things I've seen on TV in a long time. And considering I recently watched the Lego Movie for the first time, that's saying something. The Lego Movie was also really good, but Gravity Falls, man. GG, Alex Hirsch. GG. So yeah, Bill, I sort of glossed over this. Bill entered the mindscape of Stanley, and by shooting Stanley with the mind gun, killed Bill. Kill Bill! Hey, I mean, that's what happened. Kill Bill. Killed Bill with, like, blue flames surrounding him and just engulfing him. You could see Bill going through all his forms, the mad form, and, like, this blue form, his eyes spewed out. All sort of creepy stuff that you'd expect from Gravity Falls. And from a villain who shuffled the Yeah, that's right. He shuffled the functions of every hole in Mr. Northwest's face, but that returned to normal. I'm also wondering how he invested in Weirdmageddon bonds and that sort of stuff, because that was another thing. He invested in Weirdmageddon bonds and bankrupted the whole family, and had to sell the mansion, which McGucket bought with the money that he got from the patents that he sold to the U.S. government, which I thought was pretty clever. He bought the mansion, and the Northwests, like, you're only going to be able to have one pony from now on. Dun, dun, dun. So yeah, that was Weirdmageddon Part 3. Take Back the Falls. Go watch it. Just go watch it. What are you waiting for? It's gonna get spoiled sooner or later. You might as well just go watch it. Now, if I'm being honest, I actually thought Stan might... There was a chance that something would have happened to him permanently. Like, he would have permanently lost his memory. And that would have made for some serious feels. Or he could have just bit the dust, considering the amount of theories that were surrounding him just dying, getting killed by Bill or something else. And considering the way it was foreshadowed in the episode, where he was just like an outcast and stopped being called leader when Dipper and Mabel showed up, I actually expected him to kick the bucket, but no. He kicked Bill's ass. And you know what? I prefer that. And I wonder if Stan actually... He remembered everything, but did he remember defeating Bill? That's what I wonder. But I'll definitely watch it again when I get the chance. This has been Joanne54. Please just go watch some other... Go watch Weirdmageddon Part 3. Go watch other reactions of Weirdmageddon Part 3. And watch, like, an actual review of this. Because this does not count as a review. This was unscripted. This was unorganized. This was crappy. But thank you for watching it anyway. And with that said, keep looking forward. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.